And as always, with these preview and prediction episodes, we start with the prediction and then we defend it and how it will go about. This one's at 7:30 on Black Friday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, to each and every one of you. Appreciate all the support. I am thankful for you, and I'm thankful that you're checking out this episode. I say 38-10 with the possibility of this one really getting out of control. I don't think Penn State's going to have any issues with this one. Like I said, an elite defense, top 5 run defense, top 25 pass defense. Pass defense has taken a little bit of a step back against a Michigan State team that's got a redshirt freshman quarterback that was supposed to be QB3 going into the season. But then Peyton Thorne transfers, Noah Kim gets banged up, and in steps Caton Hauser. I mean, this Michigan State team has players here and there, but a lot of them are banged up now. So Penn State will be able to out-talent them, outclass them in the regular season finale at Ford Field, the Detroit Lions home field that just saw them lose to the Green Bay Packers. Not exactly Sean Clifford led, but you like to think of that. Clifford getting the win out there. And besides the point, but Penn State will win 38-10. That means they will cover, and that means that total will go over as well. The official sports book of Locked On FanDuel has that set at 21 for a point spread and 42 for a total. Again, let me know in the comments what your score prediction is. Now, here's what Penn State's going to be able to do besides using that elite defense. Now, Drew Aller is not 100% from what we saw going in and at practice. Wasn't really throwing the football a whole lot. Again, the media gets about 10 to 15 minutes to watch and see what happens. He ran some drills, ran the football, but he wasn't exactly throwing it. Here's the thing that's held Penn State back for a little bit of the time. How do they match up with Michigan State? Well, Michigan State's run defense is actually pretty decent. I'll give them credit where credit's due. They do not allow a ton of yards, and for what it's worth, I mean, they did win last week. They did beat Indiana. Uh, I think in a game like this, Michigan State can try to pull out all the stops, maybe some trickery, because they don't have anything to lose. Penn State doesn't win this game. The New Year's Six Bowl is out of the question, so you have to look at that from that angle. But then again, Penn State, like I said, is just way more talented than Michigan State. If this was outdoors, really cold, because we've seen that Penn State doesn't exactly play very well up in East Lansing. This one's inside. With the passing game, though, Michigan State's defense, run defense anyway, is okay. It's decent. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. For the pass defense, though, that's where Penn State's going to be able to have a little bit of an advantage. And I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, Drew Aller hasn't been good this season. The wide receivers are getting a bunch of slack. Keandre Lambert-Smith, Dante Cephas, any of them, they haven't been all that great. And that's true against Ohio State and against Michigan. But against West Virginia, against Maryland, those kinds of teams where the matchup works, Indiana, Penn State's going to be able to have its way in the passing game, even if Drew Aller's not 100%. So that's fine. Sell out for the run, take away Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen. I'm sure those guys will have okay days, but I'm actually looking towards the passing game. I think Drew Aller will have his typical efficient day. No turnovers. He's not going to throw the ball a whole bunch because the shoulder, the throwing arm is not 100% from what we've seen. We don't have any reports. We don't have any indications from coach. He says everything's status quo, but that's pretty typical. Tight to the vest type of stuff. You're not going to get any more than that. What else does that mean in this case? If Drew Aller's not 100% from what we've seen, and the logical conclusion that we can come to, because you pulled him out of the Rutgers game. Why would you pull him out of the Rutgers game if he wasn't 100% after clearing the blue medical tent, right? Bo Prabula is a capable backup quarterback here. And I'm not here to debate. I have other episodes devoted to that, so go check those out. But Bo Prabula and Drew Aller are both going to be utilized in this game where Penn State's really going to benefit because Michigan State is good, is okay. I won't get too far ahead of myself, right? The Spartans are okay at taking away the running backs, but what they're really not good at is taking away a mobile quarterback. Indiana was averaging quite the clip on the ground last week, and you're thinking, okay, the Hoosiers, why are they getting a ton of rushing yards? Because Brendan Sorsby is a dual threat quarterback, and I don't want to say had his way on the ground, but Indiana had no issues running the football all that much, aside from, of course, Michigan State did get the win, and that's what matters the most. But Indiana was able to move the football on the ground. I think Penn State's going to get very strategic here. Drew Aller might throw about 25, maybe 30 passes. He doesn't really have to, but I think they're going to get creative now in this sense. We saw Bo Prabula with some, it's not even trick plays. They're not even going to bring out those kinds of packages where Bo Prabula, and they might for a play or two, but it's not going to be, they're not going to overdo that. But what might happen is Bo Prabula comes in, Drew Aller subs out, and Bo Prabula keeps it, or maybe runs a drive or two, actually in the middle of the game when it's not out of control. He's not just going to come back in. Penn State saw the film. Penn State saw, okay, if Brendan Sorsby can do this kind of damage against Michigan State's defense, what can Bo Prabula do? And Mike Yursich was fired. Of course, this is only the second game since he's been let go. You had not one, but two first-time play callers at Penn State take over, and Jaywan Sider and Ty Howe. I totally respect the football minds that they are, but they still have to get used to and be comfortable in a play calling role. Well, now you have that second week. Rutgers defense is better than people give them credit for. They are a top 5 pass defense. They are a top 30 run defense, if you can actually believe that. They took away Penn State's wide receivers. Penn State fully committed to the run. But now a Michigan State defense that is pretty much barely top 100. I shouldn't even call it top 100. Bottom 100 here and closer. They're about ranked 88 in terms of pass defense. So Bo Prabula is probably going to be able to pull off some passes. We haven't really seen him attempt much. Drew Aller, the wide receivers will get open, and then the elite defense to go along with it will be able to grind the game down to a halt. That's Penn State's formula. They're going to jump out to a lead, rely on turnovers. Caton Hauser is a redshirt freshman. He's only played. This is his first full-time experience of college football. Penn State's defense will be able to get after him. He's not extremely mobile. He can move, but he's not a true dual threat quarterback. And I like him a lot. I like him as a prospect. I think he could have a good college football career if he continues to develop the right way. He attended Elite 11, but Michigan State's too banged up on both sides of the football too. Offensive line, it's bad. In the trenches, it is just bad, period, for Michigan State. So the matchup's not exactly ideal. So take Penn State to cover, take the total to go over, because Penn State, I think I might be a little generous with the fact that Michigan State is going to hold Penn State to 38 points as it is. This one could get really out of control just under the circumstances. Michigan State doesn't have anything to play for. It's all about the next chapter. Who are they going to get as a head coach? They can't even play for themselves in a bowl game. Maybe if they go 5-7, they'd have to wait around for the committee to make that decision if some other teams opt out, whatever, right? If there's some open slots. But Michigan State's season is completely over. Penn State's got a New Year's Six bowl game to play for. Penn State is very healthy. A couple for some other, everyone's back to full strength. All of the main players, the starters, even the key role guys are all healthy. That is something to be said. I hate that Penn State missed out on an opportunity to play in the college football playoff or even contend for a spot there because everything set up nicely for the Nittany Lions and somehow they fumbled it. Okay. Besides the point, Penn State wins 38-10. Michigan State just does not have the depth this time around. It's indoors, so you don't have to deal with any East Lansing conditions, unpredictable stuff, just the cold. It's going to be a nice, controlled temperature type of game under a dome. Penn State wins, of course, and cover, easy cover, and it might even get a little more out of control than just that.